Hey everyone, what's up? It's Joe again. So I wanted to make a quick video this morning. It's going to be a little different as I was watching the three indices as I tend to do in the mornings, looking for entries based on the ICT fair value gap model that he's teaching on his YouTube channel. Um, and as you can see, like the price from 8, actually, let me drop into the 15 minute or actually I'll drop into the 5 minute. I mean, as you can see, like price at 8:30, kind of it set a low, you know, came up, dropped back into it, took off. So you would think that there would be a model or a fair value gap in there that we could have capitalized on. But so today was kind of a day that I'm kind of confused as to how I would have capitalized on this. So I wanted to make a video, not just showing like, oh, look at this killer trade, I missed out on or something. Like I'm I'm confident there is a way to capitalize on this morning's price action. But clearly I need to study more to figure out what that was. So I'm going to take you into the 1 minute just to kind of show what this morning did. Now, I will say I did go into the morning with a bullish bias. I was looking for an entry to go long to take price up on the. Let me just go to the daily real quick just to show you what I kind of why I'm bullish. So we traded into this fair value gap on the daily with this bearish order block, and that's pretty consistent across all three. Now, NASDAQ at the start of today's trading was lagging behind, but as you can see now, it has traded up into this gap. But on the daily, we took the sell side liquidity here back on May 20th. So my reasonable assumption is that now we are going to be in search of buy side liquidity. So back on May 20th, my eyes were immediately on the low of this bearish order block. And I'm also watching the high of it here to see if that gets swept because we've left, as you can see, relative equal highs here, here, and here. So my draw is up here. So I'm kind of bullish until I see a swing high get formed up in this range. So going into the day with a bullish bias is kind of where I did. So I saw here the 8:30 opening price. Actually, let me go. So 8:30 opening price, we kind of dropped down. We came back up. We left this low intact. We left a fair value gap here, and we took off. And then we kind of retraced back in ahead of 9:30. It came back into this gap and started trading higher, but I don't know if I would have been confident enough to take this trade ahead of 9:30 because again, I would have expected price based on like the 5 minute. If I'm looking for price to go up here, I would have liked price to take out some form of sell side liquidity. So I was kind of thinking at 9:30 price would drop down, go up, come down, and then I could go up. So I wasn't expecting price just to shoot off at 9:30, which it did here. So wouldn't have caught that one. This position here is the take profit on it is that daily relative equal high objective. So if this were to pan out, it would be a 23R trade. But again, I did not see this entry real time, and even if I did, I don't know if I would have trusted this enough to take that real time ahead of 9:30. And looking at the other two, going back to the 5 minute here, again, as you can see, like we came up, we made a high on the S&P, we traded back down, we set a swing low, and then we kind of just stayed in that range. And So again, I was like, okay, so if we went up, I would have been expecting this low to get taken out and then up and then back down. Same thing. And the NASDAQ started to do what I wanted it to do, right? So we made this same swing high, we came down, made a swing low, made another swing high, and then dropped below this swing low. And the other two indices failed to do that. So here it dropped down. This is more close to the model I would have been expecting, but then as you can see, when it took out this swing low, it never came back. It just spun up, and it, as far as I can tell, and then dropping down to the 1 minute, you'll see like it came down and then it was gone. It never gave an opportunity for an entry. I did mark this in terms of like where it did take this sell side liquidity resting below here. If people had gotten long here, it would have taken them out. And then it did, when it started to spool right at 9:30, it did leave this little gap right there. And so maybe watching it real time, when price kind of like went up, let me move this out of the way. When price kind of like went up and then briefly just wicked back down into it right there, like maybe you could have gotten a manual entry right there. But again, all of this sell side liquidity, I don't think I would have trusted that. I would have expected 9:30 to slam through that and then take off and hopefully give me a retrace into a fair value gap. And NASDAQ, did the same thing. Like I said, we did drop below this swing low here, right? But then it just took off. Like there was no retracement back in, and similar to S&P, like it left behind this little fair value gap right there, kind of traded up and then just whipped right down into it and then just took off. So again, maybe you could have gotten in manually right there, but I don't think I'm studied enough or trained enough to catch that. And I mean, I even looked at, like I said, the 5 minutes and the 15 minutes to try to see if I missed anything, and I mean, it's like, yeah, you could be like, there was a fair value gap here that it, but then it traded all the way through it and almost took, but it did leave this swing low intact. So it's like, technically, you could have gotten in there, suffered a bit of drawdown, had your stop down here. NASDAQ would have stopped you out though, because the equivalent would be right here with your stop here. It would have went up, slammed through it, and took you out. But you would have caught moves on 2 of the indices and just been stopped out on NASDAQ. So yeah, a bit of a confusing day today. I'm not sure how I could have capitalized on that. I see, like, looking at this 830 price that came down, there were some fair value gaps in here and in here. And again, even if you had gotten in here, you would have got stopped on the NASDAQ. So, I see there are some opportunities, but like just in terms of like how I could have read the tape today in order to go with the flow of my bias, because like I said, I mean, price is running in the direct. I mean, I would have been out of these trades already. Like the US 31, had I gotten in here somewhere, would be like a 10-to-1 trade already. Here we'd probably be at least up 4 or 5-to-1. Another 8, 9, 10-to-1 here. So I mean, I would have already. I wouldn't demand that price run to my full objectives. I more just mark those out just to keep track to see if it actually does kind of go where I'm thinking. But I would have already closed out in profit, maybe had a little runner going. But like I said, I couldn't find a way to apply the ICT model to this morning's price action. I did send him a tweet asking if his video tonight will touch on this morning's price action. Maybe he can explain it, like how we could have read the tape to study days like today and potentially, eventually look to take entries. So again, if these were setups you were looking at this morning, and if you did find a way to capitalize on them, I would love to hear about it in the comments. So yeah, thanks for watching. That's all I got for this morning. I will have the charts open all day. Maybe there will be something going on in the afternoon. But yeah, so that's all I have for right now. And until I talk to you again, stay safe and happy trading. Thanks.